Coming up on this episode of the Spiro podcast, I want to learn, I want to get better, I want our company to get better. And ultimately, yes, I'd love to earn your business back, but if you'd be willing to help me learn, I'll treat you to coffee. Disarms them. Obviously, they know I'm going to try and earn their business back. But if you couch it in terms of, I want to learn so we can get better, that shows, I think, integrity on your part, that you're not just trying to earn the business back by cutting prices or whatever it is. You really want to get better.
Welcome to the Spiro podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. With your hosts, Todd Kivimaki and Craig Magrum.
Hi, and welcome to the Spiro podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. Spiro is a software platform designed to help you manage, help you start, manage, and grow your real estate media business. And we're just so grateful and humbled and honored to provide this podcast to help you really grow the business side of what it is that you do. Lots of great resources out there on the creative side of what we do as real estate photographers and videographers, but we love talking about the business side just to help you build a good, strong business. My name is Craig Magrum, host of the podcast, and joining me most every week, our co-host and Spiro founder and owner, Todd Kivimaki. Welcome back, Todd.
Hey, it's good to be back, Craig. Another week and busy season. Hope everyone is doing well out there.
Yeah, it's nice to finally see some sunshine. I got a nice big window full of sun coming in the side here, and makes you feel better, you know?
Yeah, it does. It does. It sure does. It changes your morale. So hopefully that does. Yeah, that is. Hopefully you all are seeing it out there as well. You know, I was on a coaching call this week, and I'm in a group where there's a coach. And so I'm not doing the coaching. I have those calls too, but I was the one being coached, which I need a lot of it. So I need to participate in these a lot. But, we're talking about just a few things, some verbals that I want to give you that were brought to the top of my head. One of the verbals that he used was time lag. He said, "What's your time lag in communication?" And I love that idea. At WOW Video Tours, our real estate media company right now, we have some communication gaps. So we have a fairly large team in office, in the field. And when you do that and when you move fast and during busy season, there's things that just slip under the radar. Yep. And this is not unique to our business or your business. This happens at every business. But I thought that was an interesting term, time lag. And just one thing to think about for you all out there, and for us to think about too, is when your clients, when your team members, when a vendor communicates with you, is there a time lag? Are you constantly saying, "Hey, I'm so sorry for the delay"? Are you constantly responding to emails a week or two later? And, that is...
I did that this morning, Todd. I emailed a client. It's like, I'm sorry for the delay.
And we all do. I use it all the time too. And you all, if you message me in, you probably hear it from me. And it's something I'm working on. If your client has a new listing and they want to get the shoot booked and you have a time lag in getting back to them, I know we have found that our real estate media company, we see that sometimes those agents go to another vendor. So this isn't even in the show notes. We weren't even going to talk about this today, but I was just talking about my week thinking about that idea of a time lag. And I think that's important just to understand is, do you have a lag in communication? And if you do, what image does that portray of your company? And how do your clients feel about that? So an interesting verbal, time lag. The second one we might get back to, I'll save it for the end, Craig, the verbal, but we'll get to the show notes and go from there. You had a thought. I stepped on you.
No, that's okay. Yeah. You said something that ties into our subject today. When you said when there's a time lag, especially with clients, they might go to another vendor. And that's actually what we're going to dive into today is how do you win back clients that you've lost? Mm-hmm. Now, it's not 100%. You're not ever going to get every customer back that you might have lost. But there's some things that you can do to increase your chances of winning back business and more importantly, winning back relationships. And we'll dive into that. But before we do that, Todd, what's new with Spiro?
Yes, I'm so happy you asked. It's like we almost planned this, Craig.
Do we show our hand on how much planning we didn't do? See, but I think it's our secret sauce though, Todd, because it's an organic conversation, right?
It is. So. And I will say that that's one of our selling points with Spiro and even this podcast. I'm not trying to sell you anything on the podcast other than Spiro, but that is a selling point of using a software of a company who does real estate media at a very high level. We talked about, and we're not the biggest, so I don't say this to toot our own horn, but we took 98 orders on Monday. Hundreds and hundreds of shoots a week. Thousands, tens of thousands, not 10 into tens, but 12, 13, 14,000 shoots a year. So all of that we need at our very high level gets put into the software. And then we'd like to share it with you here because we go, oh, that was dumb to mess up on. Can we help someone else?
Right.
So let me sidebar that and get back to the first question you asked me, Craig. Let me give you a few quick updates. So I'm just going to fire down the list here of updates. You now have the ability to disable the login page. That was a mouthful on the order form. So if you don't want that login screen to pop up, then you can disable it. The goal calculations inside the metrics, they've been tweaked a little bit. There was a small little thing that maybe none of you have experienced. We experienced it at WOW because we put goals on divisions, different service areas. That's fine-tuned. When default questions are not asked, so if you're not asking your clients the square footage or the price of the home, we used to display that question and an answer throughout the system. We don't anymore. Some of you said it's confusing. Why do we even show it? It's hidden to your photographers. It's hidden to your agents, your clients now. We continue to remove our branding in some of the portals and put your branding. So the photographer portal now, many of you asked for this. Say, hey, can my logo go on there? Sure, it is on there. We're happy to do that. Our logo was just hard coded on there. My logo doesn't need to be on there with Spiro. Yours does. So we're happy to make that change. We had a great one to iPhone adjustments. Y'all, there's a ton of different versions of software people are using on their phones, different types of phones and different browsers. We'll always continue to work to get those synced up, but we made a really great step forward in making it easier for your clients to download on that download page. We stacked the buttons a little bit differently, so that's all finessed. And then also we did another round of updates to invoices. So invoices have all of the order details. We also in this last round added discounts, so coupons, and then we condensed it all. So if there's just one order on an invoice, it should all print on one page. So excited to handle that. Also, if you rearrange photos in the gallery, or if your clients rearrange photos in the gallery and they go to download them, we now put a sequence number on them so they will display in what the client expects the rearranged method. So many of you asked for that. That is all done now and live in your system.
Good updates.
Yeah, excited about that. And then last week, we have vertical now in the merge fleet. So that's another exciting thing.
We did mention that. And you can always get information on the merge fleet, our automated video editing system at spiro.media. You can go into the knowledge base, and we've got a whole tutorial on how to get that all set up. It's very cool. Awesome. Exciting updates, Todd. Thanks for sharing that. So, hey, I love seeing the comments come in on our email when you email us either a question or a comment, and that's hello@spiro.media in case you want to send us some feedback on anything that you heard in the podcast or a question that you would like to see us address. We're always open to that and want to answer those questions. But the YouTube channel, the YouTube version of the podcast, always gets some great comments, and it's just really encouraging to us. Let's see, official South Soul 5223 said, "Keep pumping these out. Always getting precious nuggets with every episode." So awesome! Just very very humbled that we're able to share what we can with you and see you get value out of it. So thank you to Official South Soul. And then this one kind of came as a surprise for me, Todd. We got a comment from Easy Car Trade, which when I first looked at the name, I thought, is this a spam comment? But check this out. It says, love the podcast. Great knowledge. As you can see, I'm a classified car side for classic cars that since I came across your company, I'm changing my business because I've had struggles for 3 years trying to grow the company nationally, but found that since we shoot a lot of content, he loves to shoot photo and video. This is the type of company I can create in a local capacity and grow my brand, real estate, photo, and video. So because of you guys, you turned a switch on for me, and I thank you for this. I've already created my real estate company brand and will be going live soon. We've already set up the back end on Spiro, and I think this is by far the best system out there. I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
That is incredible. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So Easy Car Trade, thanks for the comment. And anything we can do to support you, let us know. We're here to serve and cheering you on for this kind of big step in your career and work, right?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know this individual's name, but keep us updated. Let us know how it goes. And that goes for everybody too. Like, we love to hear from you guys. We just, give us a shout out. Let us know how it's going. A lot of you sent me your goals early in the year, so thank you for that. But keep us informed. We are rooting and cheering for y'all.
Yeah, we like to celebrate wins. And like every Friday morning, we have a staff meeting, and Todd always starts us off by asking a question. So what were your wins this week? Well, what good happened? And it's just such a good way to start off our meeting is with something positive and we get to that's what we want to do with you guys. That's the whole point of this, is we want to see you win. Right. So share your wins, leave them in the comments on YouTube, email it to us, whatever. We love celebrating with you and see your success. So
yeah, agreed.
All right. Anything else we need to talk to?
I don't think so. If we miss something, just let us know, everyone, and we'll get the info to you. So Craig, I'm really interested in this. This is great. Last week I loved the podcast and the just practical and years of hard work advice of what you're doing every day out there in the field, growing business in your market. And you had some great interactions with clients today. We teased it a little bit that this was a past client of ours that we were looking to win back. And how did how did this all come about, Craig?
Well, I'll go back just a little bit. So my role with Wow Video Tours is kind of a hybrid role. So I take care of both business development for my area, my market, but I'm also the videographer for the market. And we soon have somebody new joining the team up here in my neck of the woods. I'm excited for that. Mm-hmm. So I kind of have this dual role where I talk both business development and the creative side in doing the shooting for our clients. And of course, this is traditionally busy season, but full disclosure, we're about transparency here. Todd, I had 2 days this week where I actually had no shoots in my market, which has me a little concerned. So when I don't have shoots, I need to be productive with that time that's freed up where I'm not shooting, right? Mm-hmm. So we had 2 clients in one of the cities that we service that one I just noticed hadn't ordered for a little while, and she had made a change from one brokerage to another in this city. So that was kind of on my radar and something I'd been meaning to address. And I thought, I'm going to reach out to this person and see if I can get a sit-down meeting with them. Because any of you that have watched the podcast or listened to the podcast, I like coffee meetings. I just like one-on-one, face-to-face conversations, and a coffee meeting is just super easy and laid back to be able to do that. People are disarmed. You're not in their office. You're not in your office. It's kind of neutral territory. And coffee is just a social thing, right? It's relationship. Sharing a meal with somebody or sharing drinks with somebody, you're both a little relaxed. Mm-hmm. Where you can have a good conversation, an honest conversation. So I asked this person to a coffee, and I think it took, I don't know, two or three different times of trying to figure out a date and time, but we got that nailed down. And so I had that scheduled for, it was this past Wednesday. Got that on the books. And then we had another client in the same city that we hit a little bit of a rough patch with, and we're going to address both of these separately. That did end up using another company. So Todd, you mentioned it at the opening, when there's a communication lag or something happens, your client can go to another company. And this is a client that's been with us, Todd, without saying names, how long? 13, 14 years maybe has been a client of ours? Longer?
Well, I shot for her, and she was at the brokerage of my first client 20 years ago. So I think she wasn't there 20 years ago. She was at a different company, but I believe she came in pretty early. So it's probably been 15 years ago.
That's amazing. Yeah. So she wandered to another company for 2 of these shoots. And I'm like, and I know this person personally from attending church with her years ago. So I'm like, we need to take care of this. Yeah. Whatever has happened, I need to find out what's happened. Where did we drop the ball, and how can we win this back? So we'll handle these separately, because it was kind of 2 different conversations, but both the same situation where they wandered, right? Where do you want me to start? We start with the first one.
Yeah, let's start with the first one. So you had this coffee meeting set a couple days ago.
Yeah, with this realtor who had recently changed brokerages, maybe the last 4 or 5 months. Last order I saw from this person was back in, I think it was January or February.
And Craig, is that information, where do you find that information at? How was this drawn to your attention?
Yeah, so you can run a report within Spiro and check for last order from agents, and you can set a custom date range. So I think I set mine for 60 days. Okay. And it pulled up a list of agents that haven't ordered with us for 60 days. Now, it might be because they just haven't had any listings. So you don't want to assume that you've lost every one of those clients. Right. But this particular situation, I knew the brokerage that she had gone to. I knew what resources were available to her, and I wondered, and I think I had seen a listing or 2 on her Facebook page that I knew we didn't shoot. Okay. So I'm like, okay, so I need to talk with this person.
There's a lot of competition with agents going. They have an in-house media department. So just as a little this stood out to Craig as like, oh, agents that go there, they really push their in-house people.
Yep. So she agreed, was happy to sit down, which is always a good sign. So if you realize you've lost a client or they've wandered, and you reach out to them and say, hey, I'd like to catch up and just fight. I've seen you've had a few listings that we haven't shot. I always like to learn on what we may have done or didn't deliver on for you to have moved. Just full transparency. Yeah. I just put it out there, because there's no way to really trying to worm your way around the question is just awkward. And we're grown adults. We can respect each other. And I'm just going to straight out ask the question, what did we not deliver on that caused you to wander? I want to learn. I want to get better. I want our company to get better. And ultimately, yes, I'd love to earn your business back. But if you'd be willing to help me learn, I'll treat you to coffee. Disarms them. Obviously, they know I'm going to try and earn their business back. But if you couch it in terms of, I want to learn so we can get better, that shows, I think, integrity on your part, that you're not just trying to earn the business back by cutting prices or whatever it is. You really want to get better. Yeah. So they agreed to that. And she brought one of her team members. She's since her move has grown a team where they have a team of 5 realtors now, which nice. Awesome. Congrats. Yeah. I made sure I congratulated her on that. And we just got talking, and, she shared that, this inside marketing department made things, pretty simple, and pricing was a little bit of an issue because she came from a brokerage where the brokerage actually paid, I believe it was either half or paid for their photos for them. Okay. So all of a sudden now she has to pay for her own. And on top of that, just the pricing, things like that, she just went with what was inside and easy. So I explained, well, actually, we have a discount pricing program for you, and laid it out and let her know we have some updates to that coming as well this coming Monday that I think you're going to find pretty compelling. And I know we've done photo for you and video tours, and I don't know if you're doing video now, and I don't think she was. We talked about branding and consistency in that. And it was a good conversation, and she was not opposed to coming back to us. It was just so much change with her brokerage change that things just kind of wandered. And that's all it was, along with a little bit of pricing, her all of a sudden having to pay for her own photos. That's all it was. Because she said, I've worked with you guys a long time. I do like your work. It's nothing that you've done bad. I was always satisfied, but they're doing a good job too. And I don't really have any major concerns with them, but yeah, let's look at things. And by the end of the conversation, without remembering all the details, she said, you know what? I got 2 listings coming up. I'll call you guys again. And yeah, let's work together.
Yeah.
All it took was just a sit down face to face and being honest and saying, what can we do better? And you ask questions, you probe a little bit, they'll share things. If you come to them in good faith, 99% of the time they're going to respond in good faith.
Yeah, I think that truly shows. I mean, there's a lot of nuggets in there. I'll go back to the nugget term, but just even in the verbiage that Craig uses, it's very strategic, and it's developed over many years of Craig doing this. It all comes down to, and we understand that it all comes down to the relationship, because all things were pretty equal. I mean, in the end, if you are trying to improve your photographs to look better than your competition, you're just focused on the wrong thing. You really are. Quite honestly, and I don't know if this is true or not, but this other company could have better photographs than us. It's not noticed. It is not noticed by the agent. The agent said, hey, yeah, I just kind of came in and made it easy. And, there was this little price thing. And you need to uncover all of that through the relationship. And the relationship is the most important thing. And this relationship not only was one agent, but a team of 5 or 6. Mm-hmm. So understanding that people have not used you is super key to making this happen. Craig, I think I went through a period of time where I just thought, like, once we won someone over and they used us, they were going to use us forever. And I expected that.
Yeah.
When I was shooting for them, and again, this was upwards of 20 years ago. 1, I didn't have any competition. 2, it was me physically building every relationship, literally doing every single thing. That's editing too, everyone. Like, there were not editors 20 years ago. If they were, I didn't know where they're at. I just stayed up till 4 a.m. and edited every day. Stupid me. But literally everything, and I was proud of that. Like, I can do everything. And I look back and I'm like, wow, that was like, there was really nothing to be proud of.
Yeah.
And I could only do so much. And I had a small amount of clients, and I am pretty confident that everyone stuck with me because I built those relationships. But when we went from 20, 30, 40 clients to thousands of clients, and even if say you have 200 clients or 100 clients, there are people that are going to come in that front door and go out the back door, regardless of what you think. No matter how hard you try, people are always going to try someone else. Your photos aren't astronomically better than anyone else, that they're only ever going to use you because of your quality. So the relationship matters. The relationship's important, and just some phenomenal tidbits on how to get that meeting and how to navigate that conversation, Craig.
I don't know if I mentioned this to her, and I might have, because it's something I talk about a lot, but going back to the kind of the hybrid role I have in being able, to both do the creative side and the business development and relationship side, I can honestly look that realtor in the eye and tell them, I love what I do. I love this. And, I kind of do the hand motion, the meeting one-on-one, getting to know you and your business. And like we told you, the listener or the viewer earlier, I like celebrating wins. So if you can honestly say that with integrity to your client, I want to celebrate your wins and be a part of that, be part of your team. That goes beyond just a regular photographer that's just there to shoot photos and try and sell photos. If you integrate yourself into their team as part of their marketing team and celebrate with them every listing that they get, that makes them feel good. You feel good. You know you're part of that because you've provided the really good visual marketing, right? Mm-hmm. And it just, it builds that relationship beyond just the bottom dollar. So I get to look them in the eye and say, I love what I do. And, I'm thankful and grateful for the opportunity to be part of your team and helping you with your success, and ultimately try and help you with more success and, build your real estate business, win more listings. So if you can couch terms, things in those terms, that can help get them back, because it's easy. I think it's easy in day-to-day real estate business for a realtor to just go through a lot of transactions. There's just so many different forms to sign and processes that they have to go through that it can be easy sometimes to kind of forget about the relationship. So meeting with your clients and those that have maybe wandered, and really fight for that face-to-face, not an email, not an Instagram post or message, and not a text. Sit down with them. And it's hard during busy season. Now I lucked out, it's kind of a blessing and a curse, because it wasn't luck that I had no shoots that day, but it afforded me the opportunity to salvage that relationship.
Yeah. And that's real life, Craig. That's real life. Like, even I know I started to say, hey, we took 98 orders on Tuesday. Like, Craig had a couple of days where he didn't have any shoots in his area. So that's real life. Like, we have it too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's frustrating. It's like, anyway.
Well, I think it's a good point. Like, you could have taken the time to be frustrated. You could have taken the time just to look, could you make your photos any better? You could have taken the time to just have some free time and let your brain free up. And that's not a bad solution, but you were very proactive and consistent with what you did. One thing that you said, Craig, that just gave me a lot of energy, I was literally ready to fist pump, was just the excitement and just the passion in the way that you were explaining what you said to the agent. One thing to please remember is people are attracted to people who grow and want to grow and have a growth mindset. There is something attractive to people that are energetic about something, that are complimenting you and energetic about your team growing, that want to grow their business. That is just a combination that will get you business. And it's just a really great way to think.
Two parts of what you just said I kind of want to respond to. For me, and I've gotten feedback on this from clients. Again, when I tell them I love what I do, the response I've gotten multiple times is, I can tell. Now, you don't want to be overboard with it and start to be kind of inauthentic about it. It can go too far. But I can honestly look someone in the eye and say, you know what, I'm thankful, because I've had jobs in the past, and I've tried to explain this to my 19-year-old son, who complains a lot about his work and jobs that he's getting and held and lost. And he wants the perfect job. I'm like, Bub, do you realize that it's taken me till 40, when did I start with? Wow, 2 years ago. So it took me until about 46 years old to finally get into a role where I just, like, most every day, I really enjoy what I do. Now, I've done things I've enjoyed, but there was a lot of stress and a lot of frustration in those. And maybe that's because I was younger and hadn't learned some of what I've learned about leadership. And maybe it would have been a different experience had I learned those things earlier. But sometimes it just takes time to grow in this. When I first started in sales, Todd, I was so nervous. And I always felt like it had to be about getting the sale and saying the right things, having the right responses and workarounds to, how to overcome objections is a big thing in sales. So I approached that like a formula. So I had to memorize these formulas of how to get around objections. But when you do that, you're not listening to the other person. You're hearing what they say, but you're forming your response of, how am I going to get around this? And that's just the wrong approach to building a business. We're human beings. We all have to eat. We all have to, support ourselves and our families. But if you can find something you just really enjoy doing and find some joy in serving others and adding value to them, that builds their energy, like you said. If they see you're truly passionate about helping them succeed. What was the other part I was going to respond to now? It kind of all tied together, I guess. It made me think about that.
Yeah.
People like working with people that love what they do.
Lots of good stuff in there, Craig. So you had another meeting then that was a little bit different. So let's jump into that. So this was, again, a client that had been using us as much as 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. And you realize that she went a different direction.
Right.
And again, how did you recognize it again? Was that the same way you viewed it in the system?
So the one, I think I was part of the conversation. She was trying to get on the schedule for a listing, and we didn't have anybody available in the time frame that she needed. So that was kind of the beginning of it, was she couldn't get the company that she's always used. Mm-hmm. So she went to another local provider that has been making inroads into the market. But then there was, I think it was 2 or 3 other issues that just recently happened that, when all combined, created some frustration for her, that pushed her far enough that she said, I'm just going to use this other company.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the second agent, like I said, it was a couple of different things that all kind of combined at once that caused some frustration and caused her to go to this other company for now a second shoot. Mm-hmm. And with her being a longtime client, I'm like, I got to find out what's going on here, because we're not going to lose her. So the first thing that I discovered beyond the scheduling issue with that first listing was we made a business change that we had done our best to communicate what that change was ahead of time, mm-hmm. and sent out some emails. We had made some phone calls to VIPs. While she's a longtime client, not necessarily at our VIP, so we didn't make that phone call to her, but had sent out a couple of emails. And what ended up happening was she didn't see those emails regarding this change. And it actually caused a little bit of an issue with her seller, mm-hmm. that really, really frustrated her, Todd. Yeah, because she felt like we should have informed her. I said, well, we actually did send out a couple of emails.
Yeah, those are the tough ones.
Yeah. But I know realtors get a lot of messages during the day, so it's easily slipped through the crack. But we did do our best to try and, make sure you knew ahead of time. She's like, oh, well, yeah, those things do happen. Okay. Well, thanks for letting me know about that. And so that was the first one. But, I asked her what has happened recently that's caused this. So she volunteered that information because, again, I said, I want to learn what we can do better, mm-hmm. how we can improve so that we can continue to serve you well. So when you couch it in that terms, she didn't want to lose the relationship either, because she said several times, I really do like you guys' work. I like working with you. So she was meeting me halfway.
Yeah.
And I was giving her the opportunity to say, what do we need to do better? Because we're not just going to blow her off, right? Because we value that relationship. So she shared that with me. And so I explained that change, and hey, we can actually go back to a previous model of what we were doing with you to serve your needs. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Your team actually told me that. We did get that worked out. I'm like, okay, great. So we resolved that. Then there was a third issue where one of our photographers was moving a little fast, and she felt rushed and didn't feel the quality was great. She felt like she had to babysit a little bit. So she had some concerns with one of our team members. I said, you know what? That's really good feedback. I appreciate that. We have a training department for our entire team of photographers, of which I'm a part. I get this training as well. And there's times where I am a little rushed as well. And here's usually what causes that. Nice. I said, but we can provide training for this photographer to help them grow and learn so that, in future shoots, that doesn't happen. And she said, you know what, another listing I had, he did great on. So it's not all the time. So again, she was given back, but it was enough of a concern that it did frustrate her. And I said, just out of curiosity, do you get the link for our Getting Ready guide? Because I will tell you, and I can tell you personally, and I have this personal relationship with her because I've known her a long time. I said, when the house isn't ready and the seller or the realtor is trying to put things away and hide things while I'm there, if I can shoot out of order so that we can keep moving, because we only have a certain amount of time per appointment because we have multiple appointments, and we have a system of how we shoot so that we minimize mistakes on our side, because we want to provide you good quality, right? And she kind of nodded. I said, so when that system is kind of interrupted and we have to shoot out of order, I said, I'll be honest, that's when I miss half baths or, garages that maybe were supposed to be shot. That's where I make my mistakes. So if the listing can be 100% ready before we get there, if you're able to get there ahead of us, even a half hour to just do a once over so that you're not moving room to room and trying to stay ahead of the photographer, that's going to help him do a better job for you. And she's like, that makes sense, but I don't think I've seen that Getting Ready guide. I said, can I see your latest text confirmation that's sent out by our system by Spiro? Because in our text message that confirms the appointment, we have a link to our Getting Ready guide. So she showed it to me and we scrolled through it. I said, oh yeah, here it is right here. She goes, I've never seen that. So I'm like, well, this is a good training point for me too, because I can kind of see how you might not have seen that.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm going to bring to the team, and we're going to discuss how can we make our Getting Ready guide stand out even more, so that clients are ready before we get there. She said, okay, this makes sense. Can I get this file? I said, I'll send you the PDF. That way you can put it in your listing presentation and just give it to every seller, and it's just part of your presentation. She's like, that's great. So identifying the problems, addressing those, hearing them, actually listening, and seeing how can I serve them better. Smoothed out, she goes, I really do want to work with you guys. We have $1 million listing that we're going to be shooting for her next week.
Nice.
That I'm going down for, because she knows our quality. She knew ultimately we were going to take care of her, but it was that moment of frustration. And here's what I learned a long time ago, Todd. When there are unmet expectations, that's where conflict happens. Conflict, disagreement, frustration. So if you can sit down and really set down the expectations of what they need to do and what you're going to do for them, and communicate as clearly as you can, and what questions do you have? Address those things up front, but keep addressing those. Just remind people so that you're not having those situations where there's unmet expectations. For me, that's the key in smoothing things over, and we've won her back. I sat down, we addressed the issues. I laid out the expectations. Here's what we need from our side. And, here's what we can work on to serve you better. You address the expectations, you get it down, you get the plan. She feels better. Okay. Yeah. I'm working with you again.
Yeah. That's Craig. If you are not out there, and if we're not out there as business owners setting those expectations, people's perception becomes their reality.
Very true.
They will set those expectations, and they might set some really screwy things. And then that's their reality. And then regardless of if you think you're right or wrong, you're wrong.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, think about the steps that we took through. We thought we did a pretty good job communicating this change in payment. We sent out multiple emails over 30 or 45 days. She didn't see them. It's our fault. One tick.
Yeah. We
show up to a house. The house isn't ready. You all have been there.
The photographer's rushing.
Yeah. And we're trying to make it happen, and we have to rush through because you're cleaning the house when we're there. Whose fault is that? Well, that's your fault as the business owner if you don't set those expectations. 2 checks, and we find that when people have a check or 2 against you, they go somewhere else.
Right.
And even if they don't want to, like she's been a client for 15 years. It just takes uncovering that, recognizing it, find it, click on metrics in your dashboard in Spiro, scroll down to the bottom and see who has not placed an order with you in 30 days, 60 days. Click the settings button in the upper right-hand corner. You can change the number of days right there. Set it for your VIPs and non-VIPs. Hit refresh data, scroll down to that box and click on it. As you're going down that list, are you surprised at any names on there? Okay. Don't jump off a ledge yet. They might not, they might just not have had a listing. They might have changed brokerages and they might be in a transition. But you need to know what is happening in your business. And I have fallen victim to this many times where I do business with my hands over my eyes, hoping for the best because my feelings, I don't want them to be hurt. I don't want someone to not use us because that means they don't like me.
Right.
No, Todd, that's dumb thinking. That's not why. It's because you're just not serving them correctly. There's some expectations and some communication that was off, and you just need to fix it.
Yeah. When she said to me, I really do like you guys. We've worked together forever. Then I know here's the key. So after that meeting, I think it was the next day, we were texting again and she sent me a text. She said, thank you for taking the time to sit down with me yesterday and work through those things. So the key to winning back business that you've lost is you've got to have the relationship before the rub point where there might be some frustration. If you've done the work of building the relationship, we talk about this so much on this podcast, Todd, the more I think about this, I wonder how many times we've used the word relationship, but that's how important this is. Because had I not had the relationship with her, sitting down with her might not have done any good because she may have already made up her mind about us, but we've served her well before. We've had the relationship before. So the fact that we took the time to, again, address, she appreciated, she saw effort on our part. Okay, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. When you have the relationship, you get the benefit of the doubt far more often, and you stand a better chance of then winning that business back and smoothing those things over. But you got to be real about it. You got to be authentic about it.
Yeah, so true. It goes such a long way. Craig, I'm putting her on my list to write I know you emailed me and said she said hello, but I'm going to write her a nice little just a quick little hello and thank you card.
So Charlie also said hello. I don't know if you got that message. So yeah. We're doing a little personal business here while the rest of you listen to watch.
Just if a Charlie in one of our divisions gets a handwritten note from you, then I understand you're trying to poach her. It's okay. I'm going to write one too. So
handwritten notes are important.
They are.
I know it seems old school. You know, I just turned 48 a week ago, and that's what my parents taught me is take the time to write a handwritten note to somebody. Younger generations, I don't know if they've learned that or been taught that, but that communicates something special.
It does.
And you know, we're an email and text. Well, not even email. We're a text generation or society now, right? Mm-hmm. A text takes very little effort. Mm-hmm. Take some time, slow down a little bit, do the handwritten note to your clients, and let them know you appreciate them. Especially after someone's ordered with you for the first time. That's part of my standard practice. When somebody's taking a leap of faith and trusting us to help them market, I make sure I always send a handwritten thank you note to them. And I've gotten comments on that.
That's a nugget right there. It's simple, not easy. Yeah. I kind of chuckle every time we talk about writing and mailing something. I think I've told this story before, but my middle son, Grant, he's 9. And I think a year ago or 2 years ago, he figured out that he could write a letter or draw a picture to his grandfather. He could put it in an envelope and he could put a stamp on it. I think my kids prior to that point just thought stamps were used as tape or used as decoration. They didn't understand what a stamp actually would do. And when I told him, and he's a thinker. Like Grant is a thinker, big brain kid, thinking a lot. When I told him that he could take that envelope and he could put a stamp on it and put his address in the return and Grandpa's address in the to field in the middle of the envelope, there was this brief pause, and I could see his brain just like fireworks going off like it's 4th of July. He was just so amazed. So I chuckle every time. I know many of you probably don't care about that. I love that story because it's just so amazing that you can put that darn envelope in the mailbox and your mail person will come and take it and deliver it. So it's so simple. My 7-year-old, he's 9 now. He does it all the time. So it means that you can do it. It takes time. It takes consistency, but it goes so far.
It's just fun to watch kids learn how we grew up doing things. My youngest is 9, and he asked a question. I think it was about 3-4 months ago. He's like, was TV in color when you were a kid? Zeke! It was an honest question. I'm like, would you believe I even had a computer when I was a kid? The computer sits down in our basement. I still have our original Radio Shack TRS-80 color computer. He's just amazed. Yeah, he's amazed by that. Let's just a little fun. For those of you listening or watching that might be a little younger, our first computer, I loaded programs and games, it's mostly games, off cassette tape.
Mm-hmm.
Cassette tape. I had a kid one time when I told him that, he's like, what's a cassette tape?
Yeah, I was just going to say, nobody knows what those are.
I'm done.
Nobody knows what those are. I'm trying to think how to even relay what a cassette tape is and what it used to look like. But
when my dad upgraded our Trash 80 to a 5 1/4 inch floppy drive.
Oh,
Todd,
yeah, big
I was
stuff.
in heaven.
Yeah.
Oh man, things loaded so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Our first 10 meg hard drive that my dad got. Direct quote. I just hit my mic.
You're just breaking stuff down.
It's so funny. 10 meg. Okay, 10 meg hard drive. My dad, quote, I will never fill this hard drive.
Most of our photos are twice that right now, or at least that one photo's that. Oh, I love it.
Anyway, okay.
Well, Craig, we're officially dating ourselves, and everyone that's less than 40 has turned us off. So if you're still here and you have a cassette or a this or a that, like send it in to us. We'll reminisce with you. We'll read it on the next podcast. But yeah. I love it.
Anyway, okay. Well, I think that's about going to cover things. Just how to win your clients back that you might have lost. It all goes back to relationship and meeting unmet expectations. Those are the 2 keys right there. All right.
Thank you, Craig.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Well, if you have a comment or a question that you'd like to see addressed, again, email us at hello@spiro.media. We would love to hear from you. Comments on the YouTube channel, always welcome. Podbean, our podcast distributor, I think you can leave comments on there as well for the audio podcast. Anytime you like it or share or subscribe, that just helps us get this information out to more people and celebrate more wins in the businesses that you're starting. So we do appreciate those likes and subscriptions and shares. I think that's it for now, Todd. Anything else before we close things up?
No, I hinted that I was going to share point 2, and
that's right.
It is nowhere near the gold that Craig gave you today, so I don't want to follow that. I did create a video on it, and I shared it in the Spiro user group. So I gave you my thoughts on consistency. If you're not part of the group, search it, and then you can click to add. But I have the video in there. If you want to know about what I learned about consistency this week from my coach, there is a video in there so that you don't feel like you missed something today. And it's not as good as what Craig shared with you, but it is on there if you're like, Todd, you didn't talk about it.
Okay. Awesome. And Facebook, to clarify, the Facebook Spiro.
Yes, on the Facebook.
Yeah. Yep. The Facebook.
Yeah, I had to. I don't know if people know I'm kind of kidding, kind of like I am kidding, but anyways.
There's a commercial on a local radio station up here where the guy says, search us on the Google.
I love that. That's even better than the Facebook.
The Google. Yes. I laugh every time. Okay, that's enough. We're rambling now. Yep. You guys have a great week. Thanks again for taking time to listen, to watch. We really do appreciate you. We love the community that's being built here and your participation. Just remember, take some time to be thankful for the blessings in your life and make sure you take a breath today. Have a great week.
Thank you for joining us for the Spiro Podcast, Managing Your Real Estate Photography and Videography Business. This is a production of Spiro and Wow Video Tours. You can find out more about Spiro's real estate media business management software at our website, spiro.media.